What if the delay you are frustrated by right now is not God saying no, but God saying almost? What if the waiting that feels unbearable is actually the final stretch before something sacred breaks through into your life? If you are listening to this with a tired heart, wondering how much longer you can hold on, hear this gently but clearly. Heaven is not silent, and your blessing is closer than you think. You didn't imagine the weight of this season. The unanswered prayers, the doors that seem to open just enough to give you hope and then quietly close again. You've done what you knew to do. You prayed, you believed, you waited, and yet time kept moving while your situation felt frozen. It can make you question yourself. It can make you wonder if you missed God, or worse, or God somehow missed you. There are nights when faith feels heavy, mornings when hope has to be forced, and moments when you smile in public but ache in private. God sees that ache. He sees the quiet tears, the whispered prayers you don't even have words for anymore. And He is not offended by your weariness. But here is the holy truth your pain has been hiding from you. This delay is not random. It is not punishment. It is not abandonment. God is not slow concerning His promises. He is intentional. What feels like stagnation to you is often preparation in the unseen. The delay is not the denial of your blessing. It is the shaping of your capacity to carry it. God often works deepest when He seems quietest, and He often comes through right when you think you are out of strength. God is aligning you before He releases you. Sometimes progress pauses because God is rearranging things you cannot see. Proverbs 16:9 says, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." When God delays, it is often because alignment has not finished. Think of Joseph. He had the dream, but before the palace came the pit and the prison. Those years were not wasted, they were alignment. God was positioning people, timing events, and shaping Joseph's character so that when the moment came, he would be ready to sustain the blessing. If things feel like they are taking longer than expected, it may be because God is lining up more than just you. God is strengthening you where weakness would break you later. Some delays are divine conditioning. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us that those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Waiting is not passive in God's economy. It is transformative. David was anointed king long before he ever sat on the throne. In between, he learned dependence in caves and courage on battlefields. If God released the blessing too early, it could crush you instead of elevate you. This delay is building resilience, wisdom, and spiritual muscle so that what is coming does not overwhelm you, but elevates you. God is protecting you from a version of the blessing that would harm you. Not every open door is safe, and not every quick answer is kind. Exodus 13:17 tells us that God did not lead Israel the shorter way because they were not ready for the battles they would face. The longer route was protection, not punishment. Sometimes God delays because the timing would expose you to loss, heartbreak, or compromise. Looking back, you will realize that what you thought was rejection was actually rescue. God loves you too much to give you something before it is safe for your soul. God is refining your faith so it rests on Him, not the outcome. Delays have a way of stripping us of shallow faith and anchoring us in something deeper. James 1:3 says the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Abraham waited years for the promised son, and in the waiting his faith matured. By the time Isaac arrived, Abraham's trust was not in the promise itself, but in the God who gives promises. If this season has pushed you to pray differently, trust more deeply, and cling more tightly to God, and the delay is already producing fruit, God is preparing a testimony, not just a moment. Some blessings are delayed because they are meant to speak louder than they comfort. Revelation 12:11 reminds us that testimonies overcome darkness. Lazarus was dead for days before Jesus arrived, not because Jesus was late, but because the miracle needed to be undeniable. When God finally moves in your situation, there will be no confusion about who did it. The delay is setting the stage for a breakthrough that points unmistakably to God's power, not your effort. Child of God, listen closely. You are not forgotten in this waiting place. God is near, even when the answers feel far. He is closer than your breath, steadier than your emotion, and more committed to your future than you are. The same God who started the work in you is faithful to complete it. When you feel weak, He is strong. When you feel unsure, He is certain. When you feel delayed, He is deliberate. There is movement happening behind the scenes you cannot see yet. Conversations are shifting. Doors are loosening. Hearts are being changed. What feels like silence is often God working quietly, intentionally, lovingly. This season will not end in disappointment. It will end in clarity. What you are enduring now will become the story you tell later, the proof that God came through right on time. One day you will look back and realize that the delay did not slow your destiny. It protected it. The waiting did not waste your life. It shaped it. And the tears you cried in faith watered the ground where your blessing would grow. What God is about to release will not only bless you, it will change you. So declare this in faith, even if your voice shakes. God's timing is perfect. God's promises are sure. What He spoke over my life will come to pass. May the Lord bless you with peace in the waiting, strength for today, and hope for tomorrow. May your heart rest in the assurance that God is working all things together for your good. And if this message spoke to you, know that you are not alone on this journey.